Hey everyone, Noble Comics here, and with some more comic talk. And today I want to talk specifically about Tom King. The guy confuses me, completely baffles me. I have no idea what this guy's all about. Because I can't tell if he's a good writer or not. Because you look at his Batman run from 1 to 85, and it had a strong start, I'd say. But as it went on, it got worse and worse, and then he got canceled 15 issues early and handed it off to James Tynion. He's doing the current run. But like everybody was talking about how crappy Tom King's Batman run was. You know, how cuck soy boy Batman he made. You know, his Batman was always just a big crybaby basically. You know, not the Batman people knew and loved. And then he made this Batman annual. Just in the middle of his run, had this Batman annual, and it's like the greatest Batman story I've ever read in my life. It's like the single greatest issue of Batman I've ever laid my eyes on. And I have no clue what's going on. Because this Batman, in this Batman annual, is the Batman that everybody knows and loves. And then some. I have no clue how he can write such a great Batman and then such a shitty one at the same time. So I definitely want to do a review. So this comic is looking at the day-to-day life of Bruce Wayne. It's about, what, like 6 weeks, something like that. Starts March 7th, ends on mid-April, mid to late April. So it's from the viewpoint of Alfred. That's the only dialogue in the whole book is sort of, looks like, Alfred's writing a note, and each of the panels has, a little bit of his take on what's going on. And we see Batman's day-to-day life of what he has to deal with. And, day one, dealing with bank robbers. Day two, has to fight a dragon. Day three, he gets challenged to an MMA fight. And the guy, is challenging Batman. He says he'll give a lot of money to charity if Batman fights him in the ring, because he's the greatest fighter. Batman never will. And then, the video comes out of this guy. He abuses his wife. So Batman steps into the ring, beats the crap out of him. That's just one. Then the next day, he's back at it, solving a murder. And it's so freaking good. It just manages to capture every single aspect of Batman and show you why he's the greatest superhero. It shows Batman, the crazy Snyder Batman who's fighting superheroes and dragons and kaijus and stuff like that. And then you see a little bit, the street side of Batman, where he's fighting regular criminals, helping lost children, helping old ladies across the street, stopping bank robberies, interrogating criminals who won't talk. And then you have, the detective, solving murder mysteries, and then he's making cures to the Joker toxin and everything like that. Like it's every single aspect of Batman that you love, all put together in one book, and it's done so well in this day-to-day style, to where all of this stuff, every single one of these pages, every single day in this, 2 months, could be its own comic book, but it's not, because to Batman, none of this stuff that's happening is special. Oh yeah, I fought a dragon, and then some dinosaurs showed up, and I had to deal with all that. That's just another day. There's no reason to make a full comic book out of that, because that's just another day in the life of Batman. The approach to it, of it's mostly broad ideas. They don't get down into the details on a lot of this stuff because it's not important, because it's not special. It's just what Batman has to deal with. I think the art style is very complimentary, because the art style is a little bit more minimalistic. It's not, hyper detailed or anything like that. A little bit more minimalistic. And it follows that same vein of not getting caught up in the details. It's the broad ideas that matter. And I think it follows follows that thesis of the book very well. But the story just blows me away. It's it's one of the greatest single issues I've ever read. It's so good. Cannot recommend it enough. It came out a while ago, I know. So I don't know if you'd be able to find it in a store or anything now. But get your hands on it if you can. Because I don't think there's another book that can perfectly encapsulate Batman. Every aspect of Batman. One of my favorite little stories, because it's, just a bunch of different stories, is you see young Bruce Wayne. It's cutting back and forth between young Bruce Wayne and this girl, and then modern Bruce Wayne and this girl who's now obviously much older. And you see it was the girl that Bruce Wayne took to the prom, his first kiss, everything like that. And just 3 days later, he was going to head off to the east to start training to be Batman. And he wanted to be tough and, be a man, but he couldn't, and he broke down and, cried and told her that he was leaving. It's just tough on a young Bruce Wayne. And then we see her today, and, the obvious implication is that she's just killed her husband. It was a bad relationship. She was always just looking for Bruce Wayne. And she made a mistake. So Bruce Wayne is talking to her at a bar. They talk about the old days and they go for a walk. He's not here to stop a criminal who's murdered somebody. He's just here to talk to his old friend who's made a mistake. And it's just so beautifully written. It's incredible. Like here, the final line, I think, sums it up very well. It says, "In a bar, she found an old friend, and went on an old walk and talked about the old days. She didn't mean to do it," she confessed. "She didn't want to hurt anyone. She just wanted to be new and young." And it's like this very touching moment where they're hugging, and she's just, you can feel the emotion. And then next page, Batman's laying on the train tracks and a train's coming at him. And, it just jumps to the next thing because it's every day for him. It doesn't stop. And then this story's great too, where it's touching on the fearlessness of Batman. And Alfred comments that he doesn't think Batman's fearless. He thinks Batman is afraid constantly. But he can get over it. And this comic really, really showcases what sets Batman apart from other heroes and other people. Yes, he is a human, but he's put himself in such a peak position where he can overcome his fear. He can work purely on instinct, reacting to everything. He can go interrogate someone one day, try and cure a disease the next day, and it's nonstop for him. And he can never make a mistake. It's incredible. It's incredible how perfectly he captures the spirit of Batman. Then this panel, sorry it's a little zoomed out with the picture here, but Batman one day is just teleported to the center of the universe, where this being, it's this strange, weird, looks like some old, like Steve Ditko art, and he's in this weird, crazy place, and this being is there, and he says basically, "I've destroyed universes and realities before. I can do it again. I am judgment and I am power and I am glory. Give me one good reason why I shouldn't destroy your universe." And then Batman has a great response as well to this as well. He says, "You come with threats and ask for knowledge. Well, know this. If you try to hurt my universe, my world, my family, like so many before you, you will fight, you will fail, and you will fall. You are judgment, power, glory. Fine. I'm Batman." And then he's returned. That was the right answer that no one's ever been able to answer before. And right there, just saved the entire universe. goes on to the next day. What's next? And just so perfect. So perfect Batman story, I'd say. And then from there, it just sort of becomes each day is a panel, and we see saving a space satellite, fighting some new gods, interrogating someone, stopping some racers, fighting crocodiles, saving children, you know, performing surgery, escaping from, he wakes up in this coffin underground, all chained up, saving a guy who wants to jump off a building. It's just everything. Everything that Batman represents is so perfectly represented in this book. And then here is like the last panel. DC Comics presents every day. Saving a kid who's about to get hit by a truck in space, saving Catwoman, getting beat up in an alley, fighting Harley Quinn and the Joker. And it's just day-to-day life for him. It's so freaking good. And so my question is, should Tom King get put with this whole 5th generation stuff coming out with DC? Should Tom King be in charge of a DC Black Label book? Because from all accounts, I was talking to the guy who works at my local comic shop, and he was talking about Tom King's run, and he said, Tom King does really well with a limited series. As soon as you give him 100 issues or something like that, he's just going to fall apart. So maybe if you did a very limited, 1 issue at a time, Batman Black Label run, maybe it wouldn't be so bad. If he can write like this for all of those individual Batman Black Label books, it could be the greatest Batman run of all time. That's how good this book is. It's so perfectly Batman. I think it's definitely something to consider. I know a lot of people, like actual people who go buy comics regularly, might think, ooh, putting Tom King back on Batman, that sounds like a terrible idea. But if it's the limited, just 1 book a month, regular old Batman, very limited prestige series, hell, it might not be a bad idea. Which I can't believe I'm saying, but honestly, 10 out of 10. Definitely check it out. Insanely good. Still can't believe Tom King wrote it. There has to be some catch or something, right? Maybe that was the trade-off. He could write 1 really good book, but then the other 85 had to be kind of crappy. I don't know. Let me know what you guys think. If you guys have read this, let me know what you think in the comments. Be sure to like and subscribe. Thanks for watching. I'll see you guys in the next video.